What's good, everybody, man? Today I'm about to be going over the best prospects going into 2025. In my eyes, these five guys on this list are going to have big years in 2025. I think they're going to maybe find themselves in a ranking spot or win multiple fights this year. Now, my criteria to be considered a prospect is you have to be under 30 years old, first of all, and you just can't be ranked. So I have five guys on this list. I'm about to get right into it. So, yeah, the first guy I have up is actually a relatively unknown guy. I believe most of y'all won't know who this is. He is out of South Korea. He's a road to the UFC guy. He's a flyweight. He's 9-0, and his name is Youngsung Park. Peace of mind is what they call him. This dude is so exciting and fun to watch. He has fantastic boxing with heavy combinations. I mean, he throws hard, he hits hard. He has great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. His debut fight in the UFC was against Shannon Ross, who is horrible. Shannon Ross is terrible, but Youngsung Park made easy work of him and put on a show. I mean, ripping combinations to the body. He took his back a couple times, dropped him about 3 or 4 times in that fight. This guy's a flyweight. He's 9-0. He has one decision, 4 submissions, 4 knockouts. He's not here to get decision wins. He's coming to finish the fight. That's what I like about him. He's very, very aggressive. He's willing to eat shots. He's durable. And his technique on his boxing is very slick, okay? And you go back and watch that Shannon Ross fight. This dude's good, okay? He's got good defense as well to go with that. And he's a brawler, very fun, very, exciting fighter that brings the fight every single time. I go back to that Shannon Ross fight again. He killed Shannon Ross, all right? He ended up kicking him to the liver, ripping combinations to the body, and ending that fight. And in that fight, the first round, he dropped Shannon Ross multiple times. This dude's a killer, all right? And especially in a division where you don't see a lot of finishes, this guy is finishing fights. And like I said, he has a great ground game on top of his dynamic striking. This dude can do it all. I'm really excited to see what's going to come for him. He hasn't fought, and he didn't even fight this year. So it kind of worries me putting him on this list. But I do remember watching that first fight, and I still go back and watch him fight Shannon Ross, and it's just a beautiful performance where I cannot leave him out of this list because I know he is coming back. I've looked at his Instagram. I don't know when because I don't really, speak Korean, but I'm excited to see what this guy can do because he is dynamic. He's fun. Like I said, I don't think he's fought in a year and a half. So I do believe that he is making his return this year. He's going to light the flyweight division on fire, man, because this guy is so exciting, so fun to watch. I think he's going to give a lot of trouble to these flyweights, and I think he might find himself in the rankings by the end of the year if he stays active, of course. But for my first prospect of 2025 that's going to have a great year, I have Youngsung Peace of Mind Park. The next guy I have up is 14-1. He is a bantamweight, and his name is Felipe Lima. Now, he just fought last week against Miles Johns, and that fight showed me why I need to put him on this list. Now, originally, I knew Felipe Lima was a guy who had everything, okay? He has boxing. He has strong combinations. He has good wrestling. He has good BJJ. He has good cardio. I mean, the guy has every skill set. Now, what worried me about Felipe Lima was I felt that he was a little bit wild and undisciplined, okay? Almost like a guy like, I want to say a little bit like Terrence McKinney, but he's not, okay? He showed how disciplined he can be, and he really did do that in that fight versus Miles Johns, and that's what made me put him on the list because that if you can really show that kind of maturity, man, you're going to be a top 5 guy, and he really came out and showed that because previously when I had seen him in Octagon or seen him in Fury, he was a little bit wild at times, which he would get countered, and he came into that fight knowing you cannot get countered by Miles Johns because he does have some good pop and some big power in his hands. And he fought a really smart fight, popped the jab out, got out of the way, feinted. He looked incredible, man. And obviously, like I said, the dude already has the skills, okay? He's got great boxing, great kicking. He's fast as hell. He's got insane flying knees. I mean, great leg kicks. And then on the ground, he's fantastic as well. Great wrestling defense, great BJJ. He's a master at taking your back and rear naked chokes. As you saw with his debut fight versus Muhammad Naimov, he's got multiple rear naked chokes on the regional scene. The guy is very, very balanced. In my eyes, we're going to see him as a top 5 bantamweight for sure. I mean, he's got everything, okay? And I think what stands out to me is the kind of pace that he can push, as well as being able to keep that volume up. And, that cardio is very good as well. I was extremely impressed with his performance, man. I think we're going to see this guy possibly a future champion, okay? He is extremely talented. I know he works his ass off. He's at a great gym. I'm very excited to see what this guy can do. I know he's going to have a big 2025. He already had a massive 2024. And this guy's going to be a very, very big problem for the bantamweight division. So, yeah. The next guy I have up is a middleweight. He's 13-3, and that is Joe Pyfer, man. Now, Joe Pyfer is a lot more known than the last guys I've been talking about, but Joe Pyfer's not ranked. He is 28, and I still believe in this guy, man. I'm a big fan of Joe Pyfer. I think he's got tons and loads of potential to be a fantastic fighter, and without a doubt in my mind, I think this guy's easily going to be a top 10 fighter, man. You know, on the feet, he's a great striker. He's a great boxer. Now, he doesn't kick a lot, but he doesn't really need to because his boxing technique is good, okay? He keeps his punches tight. He hits like a he hits like a truck. He's got some bombs in his hands. You saw in his last fight, he put Marc-Andre Barrieu out cold. Now, I don't know how big of an achievement that is, considering that Marc-Andre's been put out a couple times now. But the way that Joe did it, out cold, face first in the canvas, was very, very impressive. And it was about what? I think it took 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. So you already know that the guy has some bombs in his hands. And I don't even believe that's his best attribute. I do believe that Joe Pyfer is a very, very strong grappler with great jiu-jitsu. I don't want to go out and say this, but I feel like he could give problems to guys that are heavy wrestlers. It'd be hard for me to see him losing to a guy like Dolidze, right? It'd be hard for me to. I think he could give a good fight to Khamzat Chimaev. I know. I haven't really seen enough of his defensive wrestling, but I'm assuming it's there, man. That camp that they're at, I believe it's who is it? Sarah's gym, I think. Sean Brady's there. They got a tons of good grapplers there. Great grappling work there. Joe Pyfer is a problem for anybody in the middleweight division. I don't really know if I can see him losing this year, depending on the matchups, of course, but the dude has some great technique on his punches. Like I said, man, the power is there. The guy can crack, all right? And submission skills are really looking good. He's big. He's physical. He's strong as hell. I think he poses a ton of problems to a lot of fighters because of his variety. If you're worried about the takedowns, he can hit you with a shot that can knock you out with one shot. And if you're worried about the hands, he'll take you down and submit you. So a lot to worry about with Joe Pyfer. And I know he lost to Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson's a guy who executed a perfect game plan. He's really good at doing that. Jack Hermanson was winning a lot of fight, or he was winning, I believe, versus Jared Cannonier. Like he's a good fighter, all right. And Joe had a close fight with him and ended up losing. But look, man, you only learn from your losses. I expect Joe Pyfer to bounce back in a big way this year. I'm expecting. I know he's coming off of surgery, maybe 2 or 3 fights, and I think he'll win every single one of them by finish. So very excited to see what Joe Pyfer can do, and I'm very high on him. I think he's going to be a future top 10 to top 5 guy in the middleweight division. So, yeah, man. The next guy I have up is 8-0. He's a flyweight, and that's Lanir Kavanagh. Man, I've talked so much about this guy and how much potential I do think he has, and I will stand on it, man. I do think he is one of the best strikers at flyweight right now, okay? I think he's a top 3 striker at flyweight. He is from the UK. He trains at a Great Britain top team, and he has tons of kickboxing experience on his background. He had his UFC debut in Macau, China, where he fought a pretty good fighter, man, a debut guy, Jose Ochoa, who is out of Charles Oliveira's gym. I'm not going to lie. I thought, Kavanagh was going to kind of run through Ochoa. From watching Ochoa on the regional scene, I did think he was pretty good, but he was a little bit wild, and I thought Kavanagh would catch him with something. Ochoa showed some discipline in that fight and fought a very, very good fight where he gave Kavanagh a pretty tough fight. But, man, when it comes to striking, man, I don't think there's a lot of fighters that are better than this guy, all right? And I get excited talking about it, no homo, but the guy, he's very good. He's fast as hell, okay? He's probably, I'm not going to say he's faster than Manel Kape, but he's around that area where he is that fast, okay? He has fantastic kicks. He'll spin a lot. He's got one knockout at Cage Warriors that was just, it was so beautiful off a counter shot. It was incredible. And still one of my favorite knockouts to this day. It was insane. But the dude switches stances. He got heavy low kicks. He's got good knees. So like I said, the spinning attacks are great. Now, I don't know too much about his grappling, but I know it's only getting better, okay? He hasn't really had to show the grappling that much. But on top of, all these this great technique. He has great range management. I'm telling you, when it comes to a striker, he's about as good as you can get. All right. And he does have power as well. On the Contender Series, man, knocked Antoine Ho out cold, where Antoine Ho was highly touted coming into that fight. And that was the first fight of the Contender Series this year. And he came out there and showed out and put a nasty check hook on him and put him out cold. All right. And I do remember I talked about before that fight happened about Lanir Kavanagh's check hook. And he comes out there and puts Antoine Ho out cold, one of the nastiest finishes I've seen in a minute. And you don't see guys at flyweight out cold for multiple minutes. So that does show you the kind of power he has. And in that Ochoa fight, he didn't end up getting a finish, but he was hitting Ochoa with some big shots. I mean, they were spinning back, wheel kicks that he hit that landed, and he didn't even go out. So I'm, very high on Lanir Kavanagh. Cannot wait to see what's next for the guy. One of my favorite flyweights for sure. One of my favorite fighters to watch. He's got such a load of talent that is going to be put to good use. I think, top 5 potential for sure. Obviously, I haven't seen enough of the grappling, but with the way that the athleticism, the striking that he has, man, I think he's going to, be a big, big problem. And I think he beats guys that are already in the top 15 right now. But like I said, still a little bit of a question mark on the grappling. But other than that, man, I think this guy's going to be a real, real problem. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope y'all boys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.